luz y progreso, light and progress, honor and respects. This is your host, Sancista Brujo Luis. So today I had a video plan that I wanted to post, but I'm going to postpone that video for another time because I just received some information that I would, I guess, like to share and make a video about today on Sancista Brujo Luis. So before I start the video, I would like to talk a little bit on a subject that I don't think I have ever tackled in my YouTube channel, and that is deathbed phenomenon or deathbed visions. And I'm sure that most of us have experienced that in some form throughout our life. Deathbed phenomenon or deathbed vision is when someone is in a hospital or nearing death, nearing the physical death of their material body, their physical body. And it usually happens, it could happen from 12 hours to 24 hours before the physical death of the body. They start what doctors say, they start hallucinating, and they start seeing. Some people who've experienced this often say that they can see people who have passed on before them, whether it is a mother or a father or a loved one. Some have described seeing angels. Some have seen spirit guides. And I've heard of some cases of individuals who lived, let's say, not so much a favorable, good life, that they see visions of maybe spirits, and oftentimes they'll utter out the words, what have I done with my life? Or God forgive me. You know, I didn't see then in my life what I'm seeing now. So that phenomenon is known as deathbed visions or deathbed phenomenon, which is before the death of the physical body, seeing either a tunnel of light or seeing apparitions of spirits. Again, it could be a loved one that passed on before you. It could be a spirit guide. It could be a guardian angel. And some, sadly to say, have seen darker, shadowy energies. Each phenomenon that has been recorded has been recorded differently and I guess to the person. So I just wanted to state that before I start this video. So what I want to talk to you today about in this video is what we know as a phenomena as shared death experience. It is also known by shared SDE, okay? Shared death experience. Now, often in my videos, I like to talk about personal experiences. I don't like to share stories of he said, she said, and then that information is relayed to me. So most of the times when I'm talking in my videos, it is about a personal experience that I went through when it comes to the video or the topic that I'm discussing in the video. But I'm going to start this off with a shared death experience that happened to my sister when she was very young. My sister, I don't remember much because you gotta understand this was a long time ago, but for some reason my sister, she was a little girl at the time, and she was sleeping with my mother, and for whatever reason, I don't know why my dad wasn't there or what. And for some reason, my sister woke up in the middle of the night, and she says that at the corner of the bed, she saw an apparition. And when the apparition came and she could see what the apparition was, she knew that it was my grandmother, my mother's mother. So, my sister was startled by this, and she woke up my mother, and she said, my sister was very young. My sister was 3 or 4 years old at the time. And so my sister you woke up my mother and she said, Mommy, Abuelita is here. She's right here. And of course, my mother couldn't see that. So that's all I remember about that. But shortly during that time, we found out that my grandmother was very ill in Puerto Rico, and so we all packed up and we went to Puerto Rico, and my grandmother passed away. And so my sister experienced the shared death experience before I did. My first experience with shared death experience happened more so in a dream, and I don't really want to go too deep in that dream because it's very personal, but I remember that it was more of a nightmare, and at the ending of the nightmare I heard my aunt's voice, my tia, and she was calling out to me, and it was like a phone, like she was calling me but on a phone. And I woke up and it was like I was talking to her on the phone, in my dream. In this nightmare, she was calling me, I was picking up the phone, and I was hearing her voice through the other line of the phone in this nightmare. And I woke up, and when I woke up, I was still talking to my tia and my brother. Me and my brother shared a room at that time, and my brother was like, "Are you okay? What's the matter?" And I said, Tia, something's wrong with Tia. And so my mother called Puerto Rico, and she found out that my tia had passed away that morning. So that was one shared death experience that I went through in my life. So a couple of days ago, it was Thursday actually, past Thursday. Today is Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. This video will probably be a little late, but happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Last Thursday, I remember that I was in a pharmacy. And when I was in this pharmacy, you're looking at products, and I was looking at something, to bring home, and I felt someone pass right behind me. It was very close, where you can feel the subtle breeze as bodies pass each other. There's a certain subtle breeze that you feel. And of course, I was too deep into what I was looking, but for some reason in the peripheral vision, I saw that person that passed by me. And so when I looked, I saw what appeared to me exactly the way she walks, the way her body figure, the way she brushes her hair, was my second cousin removed, Filomena. We call her Philo. And so I didn't want to shout in the pharmacy, so I went to follow her, and then Philo went over a corner. And so when I went over that corner, to say, to salute her, there was no one there, of course, other people in the pharmacy, but there was no one else there that was of the description of what my cousin looks like. And I'm looking through all the aisles, and I'm like, did I just see something? So I ignored it. So then, we're in the midst of the coronavirus, so I tend to go out a little bit here and a little bit there, just to find, different ways of entertaining my life, and to break the monotony of what life has become, within the house and whatever. So then the following day, I go to the supermarket, and I was picking up some products. And again, I swear to you, I was looking at shampoos or soaps or something, and I remembered again that I felt, this was Friday, that I felt someone pass by me. And again, I'm reading the soap because I like to use Castile soap, and so I'm making sure that I can find the Castile soap or whatever, body wash. And then again, in the peripheral vision, I saw this person not that far from me, and I turned to look. And again, I'm looking behind the back of the person's body, it looked like my cousin, my second cousin. It looked like it looked like her same hairstyle, everything. And I just stopped and I'm looking. And then I noticed that the person was looking at something. So I said, no, that's my cousin Philo. Let me go up to her and say hello, how are you? And as I was approaching this person, the woman turned around towards my direction because she was looking at something else, and I realized that it was not my cousin Philo. So, of course I didn't salute her, and I just kept going on my own business, So today I called my mother. It is Sunday, Mother's Day. And I said, Mom, feliz Dia de la Madre, and, what are you doing today? And conversations that we have. And in the middle of the conversation, she said to me, ay, Luis, do you know that Philo, she's in the hospital. She's in a coma. And I said, what do you mean, Mom, she's in a coma? And she said, yes, she has been in a coma for 4 days. She got the coronavirus. Now, you have to understand that Philomé she's around 60 years old. And so she has diabetes, she has heart problems. And so she got sick with the coronavirus. She was coughing, she couldn't breathe. They rushed her into the hospital, and during this time during this time that they rushed her into the hospital because she was not breathing, she fell into a coma. And so they're saying that it's not good. The family needs to prepare themselves. So my mother was telling me this, and I was like in shock, and I said, Mommy, Mom, Madre. In Puerto Rico we say Mommy, Mommy, I told her about my experiences. I said, Mom, last Thursday I was in the pharmacy and I saw an apparition, and I could have swore it was Philo. And then I said, and Mom, and then the following day I went to the market, and again the same, I thought was an apparition again, but no, this time it was a real physical woman who again I thought was Philomé, and it wasn't her, it was some other lady. The first one, Mommy, I thought it was her. I went to go follow her, and when I turned the aisle, she was gone. It was like the spirit was gone. And she said, ay, Dios mío, el espíritu de ella, her spirit, went to see you. And she then told me a story about her twin sister. Philo has a twin sister, and she's been having similar experiences, and her twin sister is not really a spiritual person or into spirituality, but she's been dreaming about her sister and seeing her presence in different locations. So that was, I'm sorry, I'm trying to say this story, it's very personal, but so I want to apologize, this video was not planned. I know that in YouTube, a lot of spiritual people do videos on near-death experiences, but I've never saw videos on deathbed phenomenon or deathbed visions, and I don't think I've ever seen any video on shared death experience. So I just wanted to share this personal experience with you, and I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional. So during this time that she is ill, I told all my family, because we cannot gather to do novenas, but just to pray for her spirit, or to her that she heals. So all my family, we have our glasses of water, and we have our candle, our vigils lit in honor of Philo. you know, that if her spirit is to pass away, you know, it's sad that we're in a time that she's by herself, you know. You know, I'm going to share a personal experience. Me and my dad were not very close in life, but when my dad was passing away, he was in intensive care, and I remember that I was there with him and my whole family were there. And I remembered that when they had all come to say their goodbyes, he was passing, and so I walked them all to their cars, and then I went back up, you know, to intensive care. Now, if you know intensive care, those doors are usually locked, and you have to buzz in. And so when I was gonna go buzz in, for some reason I just pulled the handle and the door opened. And when the door opened, all my senses tingled, and I heard inside me, "Your father, Papi, go to him." And so I remember running to my dad, to my dad's room. And when I went to the room, I saw 3 nurses, and they were 1 male nurse, 2 female nurses, and they were praying over my dad. And when I walked in, they looked at me and they walked away. And I said no. You know, I was looking at my dad, and I remembered that when someone is passing, you can see their body kind of like shrivel in bed. And all of a sudden, I froze, and I saw like this, it was like a vision of light coming towards him. And me and my dad were not very close during life, but I had to become his son. So I remember that there was a vase of flowers, and I took the flowers out of it, and I put the water under the bed. Okay, and then I went to him, and I held his hand, and I said, "Papi, soy yo Luisito, es Luisito. I'm here for you. Estoy contigo. I'm here for you, Papi." And I felt a little pressure, like as if he was holding my hand tightly, and he passed. So the reason that I am sharing this video or this part is we are in a time where people are dying from this virus or from whatever, you know, and sadly to say, many people are dying alone. My father had the opportunity for me to be there for him, and for us for me to, I don't want to say forgive him because he wasn't a bad man, but to have closure with my dad and to let him know that I loved him and that he could move on in peace. So we're living in a time that many people have died and passed away, and just as they are alone in a room and we're home suffering and crying for them, we need to pray and send our spirits to them, you know. And you can do this by just placing a glass of water and lighting a candle and doing some prayers, and send your spirit to that loved one that may be in the hospital, and maybe your spirit can embrace them and hold them so that they don't feel as if they are passing by themselves. This is a really touchy video, and I'm really sorry, and I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end this because I'm getting very emotional. So please, if someone is ill, and I pray that you are all healthy and that you are all well, but if you have someone that is ill or in a hospital and you cannot go to see them physically, come on, very simple. Just get a glass of water, fresh, clean water, and light. It doesn't have to be a vigil, 7-day vigil candle. It could be a tea light. It could be a birthday candle. It could be an emergency candle. I don't care. Take a moment to pray to them. Send your spirit to them. And in spiritual form, embrace them, hold them, you know, touch their hands like I was able to touch my dad's hand because they need it. So this is in honor of Philo, and I pray that you come out strong, mama. So I'm going to end this video now, and please everyone take care. Much love and much respects. Sansista Brujo Luis.